All right, it's early in 2025, and this is my very first YouTube live. So, really excited for this. I hope a couple of people turn up, but I know it's a Sunday afternoon. Here in the UK, it's wet and rainy. Wherever you are, whether it be morning or evening, I hope it's been a good day for you. Now, on this particular live, we are going to be revealing my next destination. So, where I'm going next, and actually, it's right here. It's under this top. So I'll be getting up, whipping off my top, not that I often do that, and showing you where I'm going next. So hopefully you can join me along for that as well. So really looking forward to it. Huge thanks to everybody that comes along. Really, really appreciate that. Feel free to ask anything that you like in the Q&A section, and I will endeavor to answer that for you as well. But first and foremost, Happy New Year. I hope you had a great festive season and that 2025 brings you all of the best wishes that you hope for this year. You can probably tell in this room as I'm speaking, there is some steam coming out of my mouth. And that's not because I've got something hot off the press to say. It is more because it's freezing cold here in the UK. So I am very much looking forward to getting on a plane and going somewhere new on Tuesday this week. So in 2 days' time. So I need to pack my bag actually after we've had this live. But first of all, welcome everyone. I can see we've got a couple of people on the line. Feel free to introduce yourself, say hello, ask me anything there, and I'll answer that as we go through. But in this session, what I want to do is just do a very, very brief recap of 2024 and my favorite trips. And actually, those trips have influenced the decision to go on this next journey from Tuesday. And I'm going to show you exactly where I'm going, and it's here, this top. But when I open my jacket, you'll be able to see exactly where I'm going. So stay tuned for that. I'll be showing you that probably in the next 2 minutes. What I'm then going to do as well is outline what I've got planned for 2025. I want to bring you so much more in terms of videos and content. And excitingly, at some point this year, you will have the opportunity to choose where I go. So you can take the decision right out of my hands and choose where I want to go. So I better be nice to you because I don't want you to send me anywhere too bad. I'm also going to do a quick question and answers. I've got a couple of questions myself that if there are no questions, I know this is the very first YouTube live I've done, so I don't expect an awful lot of questions, but it'd be nice if there were. And then at the end of this a quick YouTube live, I want to talk to you about memberships that are live, so ways that you can connect with me even further, and right the way out through 2025, be a big part of the journey as we go. So then, I think we are very close to finding out about where I'm going on Tuesday. However, before we do that, a very quick recap of 2024. So I started the year by going to Iraq, which was one of my first videos here on YouTube. So I went to Iraq. Lots of people would be like, whoa, why are you going over there? Well, the truth is, don't believe what you read in the media. Of course, do your research. Make sure that where you're going is safe. But I went to Iraq, had an amazing time. I visited Erbil in Kurdistan in the north of Iraq. Wonderful people, unbelievable history of over thousands of years. And I had one of the best times that I've had. So go check out that video if you haven't seen it already. It was my very first video though, so do be kind because it was my first time in front of the camera. Then I went on to Kosovo and Macedonia in the UK, which also was quite an interesting trip. I have to say, having gone to North Macedonia, the little journey that I took in the car up into the Kosovan mountains was one of the highlights of 2024. Not the highlight, not the main highlight, but one of the highlights. So if you're ever in Europe and you're looking for somewhere mountainous and it's a little bit off the beaten track, go to Kosovo. It's absolutely fantastic. Later in the year, hopefully you will remember that I went to Nepal and Bhutan. And actually, that was my highlight for 2024. Visiting Nepal and Bhutan, a very reclusive country, actually, but somewhere I can't recommend highly enough. That trip over 2 weeks opened my eyes out to a whole different part of the world and culture. And obviously sitting in the Himalayan mountains, it was absolutely spectacular. And it was that trip to Nepal and Bhutan that's influenced where I'm going to go next. So in probably 1 minute's time, I'm going to whip off this top and you'll see exactly where I'm going. But Nepal and Bhutan, I mean, Nepal, I landed in Kathmandu. It was a bustling, vibrant city. So many people, great food, great flavors, sound, sight, smells, etc. It really was an assault on the senses. And then Going to Bhutan was completely different. It was like going somewhere that was totally undiscovered, but that should be discovered because it's one of the most beautiful and remarkable countries I've been to. You'll probably remember from the videos, I had my guide Damjo and the driver Tandin, who made it an unbelievable experience. So go back and have a look at those videos if you haven't as yet. But because I flew to that part of the world, where am I going next? Well, for this reveal, ta-da! Now, you probably noticed that this top is on quite tight. I am a little bit worried that I'm not going to be able to take it off. So this may actually be what I'm wearing now until Tuesday when I fly to India. But I am so excited. I've never been to India. I did fly back through Delhi, coming from Kathmandu back to the UK, but I only went to the airport. And I don't think that's any way to visit any country. So I am so excited to go and visit India. I've got an amazing itinerary set up. So I'm going for 2 weeks, flying into New Delhi. I've got 3 days there where I hope to see the Red Fort, Old Delhi, and experience some of the street food culture that Delhi has to offer before taking a train to Agra. And probably one of the highlights for me personally will be the Taj Mahal. So I'm really looking forward to going to that, one of the one of the wonders of the world. So super excited for that. Also in Agra, there's the fort. There's lots more in the city to see, in the river that winds through. So I'm looking forward to that before then taking a train to Jaipur. And in Jaipur, I'm going to go to the Taj Mahal, the fort, and also look at some of the beautiful architecture there. You'll probably have seen from my videos, I am someone that loves a good view and some beautiful architecture, so I'm really looking forward to that. I then fly to Udaipur for another 3 days, and I hope to see some palaces, some lakes, some temples and forts. And actually, having seen pictures of Udaipur, and also I watched a program on it earlier in the year, it looks spectacular. When I'm done in Udaipur, I'll fly back to Delhi, and then I've got a couple of days to do whatever I want to do in Delhi before flying back to the UK. So on Tuesday this week, so on the 7th of December, I fly to Delhi and spend 2 weeks in India. And I know cricket is a massive part of Indian culture, and it's something that I'm really interested in myself as well. So I'm going to hopefully take in a game whilst I'm there. But if anybody's got any tips or tricks or any information they can provide around visiting India, please let me know. I'd absolutely love that. So that's my next trip. What else have I got planned for 2024? Well, in February, I am going to Gambia and Senegal. So in Western Africa, I suppose northwestern Africa, you'd say, south of Morocco and Mauritania is Gambia and Senegal. So really looking forward to that. I am also going to Andorra, one of Europe's smallest principalities, but absolutely stunning, up in the mountains between France and Spain. So really looking forward to that. I'm then going to go to my 46th out of 47 European countries, Slovenia, a little bit later in the year. And I've actually been looking in the last couple of days at a long trip right the way out to the Pacific Islands. So, your Tongas, Samoas, New Zealand, Australia, that kind of part of the world. So exciting stuff to come in 2024. But as I mentioned at the beginning of this, I would absolutely love your feedback. And later in the year, you will have the opportunity to choose where I go. So like I say, I'm going to be nice to you. Cool. So question and answers. We haven't got any questions, or we may have questions, and I'm completely technologically illiterate and I just don't know how to find them. But if there are no questions and answers, I've got 2 questions for myself that I prepared last night in my head. And the first is, where have I felt the least safe when I've been on my travels? So what was the scariest moment of my travels so far? So to answer that, I mean, first of all, I've done 84 countries so far out of 193 UN recognized countries globally. So I've got about 109 left to go, something like that. But the most unsafe I've felt so far was in Russia, in Moscow. And the reason for that was I had a visa, I had everything prepared, flew all the way from the UK into Moscow, and I was detained in Moscow airport because I was asked by one of the customs clerks to pay up to €1,000 to continue my journey. And I wasn't willing to pay because I'd already got a visa that was fit for travel and I wasn't willing to be conned. Now, what happened then was I was put in a room on my own, a dark room, no windows, for about 6-7 hours until somebody from British Airways came and saw me and said, look, we know you've been held here. We're going to have to fly you back. So I was that person that arrived in a country but didn't actually go into the country, was held and detained, and then flown back, disgraced, back to the UK. So I have, on one hand, the honor of being able to say that I've flown to Moscow and back in a day. But I also have the story where I was pretty scared. And I remember not having Wi-Fi or a Russian mobile. So I effectively racked up a huge bill ringing people in the UK saying I was pretty scared. So that's the only time that I've felt unsafe. And that goes to show you really that the world, generally speaking, is a safe place. My belief is that around 99% of the world's population are good people. I really don't think there are that many people who are out to get you. You exercise sensible caution, make sure that you don't show off, wealthy ways of living and jewelry and all that kind of good stuff. And generally speaking, if you've got a smile, people won't bother you. So my scariest moment came in an airport, and I'd quite happily keep it that way. The flip side, where is the very best moment that I've ever experienced? And I think there's three. There's three that come to mind. Three that come to mind that are the very best. One is snorkeling in the Red Sea off the coast of the Sinai Peninsula in Egypt. I remember getting into the water and just not expecting to see this array of colors and amount of fish and wildlife. That was just, I remember having my snorkel on and I went, oh my God, like that. I was just blown away by the dark blue that I could see in the sea, and then this wonderful array of fish and coral. So that was one. The second was back in 2005 when, with my friends Daryl and Jonathan, we went to China, and I went to Badaling, which is part of the Great Wall of China, quite a touristy part. But I remember coming out of I think it was a cable car to get up there. And you're sort of on top of a mountain overlooking miles and miles and miles of rolling hills and the Great Wall of China just winding its way into the distance. And obviously it runs over thousands of miles. But that was another moment where back in 2005, I would have been 22, I think. And I just sort of was mind blown with what I'd seen. And then the third one came this year, and actually it's coming out in a video later this month when I went to Zambia, Botswana and Zimbabwe. And it's when I was down in a place called Livingstone, which is in the southwest of Zambia. And I was on the Zambezi River, and we went for but firstly a river safari and then a game drive. And actually going out and seeing these animals, I'd always wanted to do a safari, but going out and seeing these animals in their natural habitat up close was humbling. I mean, as I'm talking about it, I can feel myself getting, in a positive way, quite excited and emotional about it. So do watch that video. Honest to God, it was one of the best moments I've ever had. So let's hope when I fly to Delhi, I'm not going to be held in Delhi airport for any longer than I need to be, and that I'm allowed through into the wonderful country. But I've been lucky enough over the last couple of years to be working with people who have family, friends, or themselves have been to India. And I think everybody that I've spoken to eulogizes about it as a place to visit. So I'm going to India, and I may not, as I mentioned a moment ago, be able to take this top off because it is absolutely, I think, stuck to me now. I've had it spray painted on and I don't know how to get it off. So I may be wearing it for a little longer than I was hoping. So that's what's coming up in the next few weeks. I have got memberships live now. There are 3 tiers of membership where you can get access to additional content. You can connect with me on social media. We would have a monthly Zoom call where we would chat to each other and discuss travel tips and all that sort of good stuff. Or if you're just interested in learning more about how to get started in travel, have a look at the memberships. You can see that under each video. It says join, and there are 3 different levels that you can pick from. So finally, I can see no questions have come in. I've been rambling now for 14 minutes or so. So thank you for listening to me. But finally, I want to let you know that the video has gone live of me in Lusaka in Zambia earlier today. So I flew to Zambia at the back end of December, spent 2 weeks traveling Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Botswana. And the video that's out today is about Lusaka, which is the vibrant heartbeat of Zambia, the capital of the country. And it was completely different to what I was expecting. So go and have a look at that. But I'm going to wrap up now. Then I'm going to go and try and chisel this shirt off. But I just want to say a huge thank you to all of you that have tuned in, watched my videos, provided lovely comments and encouraging comments, and hit that like button, because it really does make a massive, massive difference. Without you, I wouldn't be doing this. So really, really appreciate it. I've got 2 weeks in India to come. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to document as much of it as I can, and you'll see the videos first here. But for now, thanks a lot. Have a wonderful 2025, and I'll do another one of these soon. Take care.